and make whatever comments you wish there that might be appropriate. So with that, we'd like to begin, and we'd like to have all of you give Dr. Peter Perhac, CEO, Vice President of the Steamboat Campus, a Cerritos welcome. Good. So he'll make some opening remarks.
Well, thanks for coming out. I know lunchtime is an important time to you, and I'm kind of getting in your way of your lunch, so I apologize for that. But I really appreciate you coming out and having a conversation with me this afternoon. I'm from Colorado, as you heard, from Steamboat, Colorado. So maybe the burning question is, why does he want to come to California? So the burning question for me and for you, the answer would be too much snow. So if you can imagine 600 inches of snow over the course of 8 months and degree temperatures, California looks very, very, very good. You also know that I lived in Northern California for about 15 years. So I am familiar with the culture. Have you ever lived in LA? No. Am I willing to? Yes. Is it a great culture? Absolutely. At this point. So those are my opening remarks, and I guess I have 3 questions to answer, and then your questions.
First question is, what are some points in your background and experience that are of special value to you as a president of Cerritos College? What strengths do you bring to the position and our college?
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, it sounds like the question is, what are my takeaways from my past experiences? And I've been in the field for 36 years in higher ed. Took 2 years off to do some social work engagement. So my takeaways is that, and I'll give you an example of this later after I tell you, takeaways from past experiences and what I bring here are, it's all about people. A president is important. He's the face or she's the face of the institution, but it's the people who actually do the work. And if you don't value those people and work with those people, then student success just doesn't happen. So that's my one takeaway. I can't do it by myself, never have done it by myself, and I always believe that there are people. Number 2, and this is a challenge to you. If drama never succeeds in anything positive on a campus, if anybody in the room can tell me where there's a positive experience with drama, then I'd be more than willing to hear. So what does that translate to in my takeaways? I'm a drama-free person in my professional life, and I try to be in my personal life also. Do things affect me from the outside? Yes, they do. But will a college succeed if we have a lot of drama going on campus? My opinion is absolutely not. So that's my other takeaway. Now, the other thing, to give an example of this, is how these working with people, no drama. And the third thing is emotional intelligence. You can be very, very intellectual. We all are in this room. You know, if I look around and see all the intelligence here, it's astounding. But you need a good balance of emotional intelligence. You have to know how people are feeling about the college, how people are feeling about their work, how people are feeling about our strat plan and what we're doing. What's the direction? What's the vision? Does the president get to do the vision? No. The president doesn't make unilateral decisions. At least when I was the CEO and president, I don't make unilateral decisions. It doesn't work. I may make them for myself personally, but it doesn't work at a college. Again, go back to concept number 1. I need you to work with all of us and with me for the betterment for student success. Here's the story. So, I'm an entrepreneur by nature. That's what I enjoy doing. If you ask me what my skills are, and you already have, entrepreneurship is probably up there. I like to think creatively, be innovative, see the big picture, but also can work on the details. So I was given the opportunity to open up a medical school in San Francisco. What do you think the first thing I was looking for in staff when you open something new? Go ahead. Experience, right. What else is important besides experience? Yes, ma'am. People skills. There you go. Those together combined with, I was looking for pioneers. pioneers who are willing to take that risk along with me as an entrepreneur and open up a medical school. Faculty members who are willing to take a risk, maybe with their reputation, because I recruited them from very prestigious schools, coming to a brand new medical school. Yeah. So the pioneers worked. Why did it work? Because people. We put all our efforts into our people and our faculty and our staff and into student success for that. Emotional intelligence. You know what it feels like to start something new. There's a lot of emotions that run through you. Some of them are good, some of them are not so good. You're working through. So we want to make sure we were in check with our emotional intelligence. It worked because we thought about the students, we thought about each other, we used our emotional intelligence. So I have the regular skills that any candidate has. I know about budget, I know about financing, I know about foundation work, I know about fundraising, I know about curriculum development. So I bring that skill package with me. It's hard not to when you've been in the field for 36 years, not to pick up all those skills in detail. So with that, I think that's the answer to my first question. Ed?
As a new president of Cerritos College, how would you get to know and communicate with students, faculty, staff, managers, and facilitate trust through the practice of participatory governance?
Okay. So communication is a major issue no matter where you are. I don't care if you're in a major Fortune 500, you're at Cerritos College, you're at Colorado Mountain College, I don't care where you are. Communication is always something that people bring up every single time there's an evaluation of a college. When the accreditors come here, number one, communication. All right. So how do I do it? I do it through your standard ways, but I have a couple of other things that I'll also do. So email. Email is important to me. It's important to everybody. I send out email every Friday, usually about what's happening, what I've been doing, what's happening at the college, just informational. So it kind of germinates through an organization this side. There's an email. Oh, did you see what Peter had to say in the email? Gets conversation going, and people start talking about it. That's pretty standard stuff to do. I understand you have town halls here. Dr. Lacey's done town halls with you. I do the same thing. They're a good venue. Town halls have to be done multiple times, which is fine because you get different questions every single time. Because faculty are teaching, people are working, people work at night, people work in the daytime. So town halls would continue if I'm here. I will blog with you if you will read my blog and if it's appropriate that I blog here at Cerritos. Not all colleges, not all students appreciate that. And I'm not singling out students, but I will blog. That's not a problem. I'll tell you daily what I'm doing. I have nothing to hide from you whatsoever. Who I'm meeting with, what I'm doing. You need to know that. I am your face to the community, so I'll be interacting with lots of different people, and you expect me to interview, talk to a lot of different people. Okay, here's the one that is kind of iffy, and I would have to get student feedback on this. What happens if I tweet? Is that a good thing here at Cerritos, or not so good thing? Would you enjoy hearing from the president tweeting to you, or is it like, oh, I don't want to listen to him? Yes? Okay. Other students? Tweeting good? Not good? Invasion of privacy? We don't really want to know what he's doing? So I would do that. But the biggest thing that I do, and seems to have the greatest effect, again, I'm going back to people are my priority and your priority also. I walk around. It's hard to tie me into a chair for 3 hours in a row. I just came out of a committee meeting where they asked me about, what would you do in the committee? Probably not sit for 3 hours. Whatever. Try to get our business done as quickly as we can. I will walk around. You will find on the front page of the website, have lunch with the president or whatever. Usually people come out and say, okay, but talk to me about what's going on. Usually people are there to complain, and that's fine. That's a good thing to do also. I don't take offense to that whatsoever. So there are lots of different ways, but the walking around really helps me. I'll go to student activities if you invite me or tell me when it's happening. And you don't assume I know that we have this big thing going on. We just walked through, it looks like transfer day out here on the quad. To do that, tell me it's transfer day. I'll get out there and I'll rally with you. I'll tell you what I know about the various schools that are represented there. I'll give you my opinion and you can say, okay, his opinion, maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, to do that. Social activities. Whatever is going on. Faculty Senate meetings. I don't know if it's a no-no for the president to go to those, or whether they're open to the president or only by invitation only. But that's another source for me to find out what's going on. Okay. As far as style, I am not a morning person. Okay. I am a reader in the morning, and I get up about 5:30. I flip open my iPad, I start reading, and then I come to work when I'm supposed to be here. And then I gradually wind up, and I am great when it comes to mid-afternoon and evening, or whatever. So if I'm here and you get a 7 o'clock meeting with me, neither one of us wants to be here at this point. So anyway, that's the answer to my question, number 2.
What have you done in your current and previous positions to promote and support excellence in teaching and learning and student services programs that lead to student success?
Okay, so that's a list for me that's in my head. So for the faculty, what we've done for learning is, and this is always important to faculty and it's important to me, is we have grants for faculty to continue their professional development. We also have grants for staff to continue their professional development along the line. The one thing that we've also done is that we have set up for faculty and for staff a huge study abroad program. Is there a study abroad program here at Cerritos? Yes, no? There has been. Okay, so that's an opportunity for faculty and staff to go to a foreign country with the students. Usually it's a free ride, paid for us because they're taking 10 or 12 students. Our programs in the past year at Colorado Mountain College, and I don't want to, anyway, have been South Africa, Uganda, Costa Rica, Honduras, Guatemala, Mexico, Spain, and Italy. And so that's another benefit of student learning. I think you learn more when you're in a small group of students with a faculty member, and especially on an international tour. So we make sure that happens, that the faculty are supported, and the teaching learning goes on. Now, my expectation, and this is mine, not the college's, my expectation, there should be some credit associated with these going abroad. So 3, 6, 9 credits. But the one way to do that, so it's not like, oh, well, I'm not going over there just to study, is that in advance of that, the expectation will be, let's say for the students at my institution that are going out in May, they're already taken 3 or 6 credits preemptive before they go away. So they have information when they go to Uganda about the culture, the politics, especially South Africa. We do that. That's another way we do it. Okay, what else do we do for faculty? Okay, how many people are aware of DED programs here at Cerritos? You have DevEd, math, English? Okay. And some people have already heard this from me. DevEd programs are great. You come out of senior high school, you come here, you're not ready in math or English to take college level courses. Okay, and that's kind of, for a student, that's kind of a bummer because you want to be in college, but you're not taking college level classes because you've got some DevEd stuff that you need to do, some developmental education. One thing that we've done in Colorado and at Colorado Mountain College is that we have shortened the DevEd period to 1 semester, not over the course of a year. And that has made a big impact on us because people feel, students who are in DevEd feel more akin to Colorado Mountain College because we've been able to get them into classes that are credit college level much faster. The other thing is that we've built learning communities, and again, I'm not picking on DevEd students, but in order to keep them, the retention rate for DevEd students is very, very low. So what we do is we put you guys in the cohort or a learning community, and the cool part about that is you get all the courses together with each other, but the advantage of living in Colorado and coming to Colorado Mountain College is that in the first 2 weeks of your cohort, you go rafting down the Colorado River as a group. Okay, we haven't lost anybody yet, Okay, we've had some people that have gone overboard and got a little bit of water on them, but that is a bonding experience, and we found out that bonding experience helps people in developmental ed move through the system and get into credit courses and then graduate. Okay, the student affairs portion of that that we do, because that's part of the question, was what do we do for student affairs? So you have iFalcon here, is that right? Do I have that right? Okay, great piece of software developed by a faculty member here at Cerritos. What we do is a smaller version of that seems to work really well called CARE program. On the desktop of every faculty and staff member, if a student is having an issue, whether it's social, intellectual, or disciplinary, a faculty member can put it in there, tell us what the issue is, and it goes automatically to the counseling center, and we take care of it. So that's the student affairs portion. Okay, I've talked enough.
Okay, now we have some questions that you've submitted, and don't forget the cards are there, and staff will help you get them up here. The first one is, should students with a criminal record be required to indicate this when applying, registering at Cerritos College?
All I know is Colorado law. I don't know California law. In Colorado, that's not a requirement for us. If you're on the sexual predator list, we don't ask that question. My opinion is if you served your time, you did your time, and you're out, you're done. I don't need to know what your criminal background is. That's my answer to it.
Your current college is very small. Cerritos has a very diverse, large student body. What will you do to get up to speed?
Okay. I currently supervise the campus in Steamboat, but on my resume, it's 24,000 at Colorado Mountain College, which is similar to Cerritos, 22,500 here at Cerritos. If you go through my resume, you also find out that I was the Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs for the whole college. The whole college for us consists of 11 campuses divided by 12,000 square miles. That means I spent a lot of time in a lot of different locations with the same number of people. So while you've read that there are 3,000 at the Steamboat Campus, I still had responsibility for all 24,000 throughout the 12,000 square mile district. Okay. I also, when I worked at Rutgers, and I was director of housing and dining services, that was 15,000 students that were in residence. At that time, it was the largest residential housing operation in the country. I also worked for Clemson, where I also had 7,500 students that were there. The medical schools are small by nature, or whatever, but very, very complex. So I think I have the skills to transfer. I know I have the skills because I've already used them in our 24,000 to come here for 22,000. It's a matter of time, place, and getting out there and talking to people.
Another question, somewhat similar to the last one. How many students are enrolled at the Steamboat Campus, and what do you see as your greatest success there?
Okay, 3,000 are enrolled at the Steamboat Campus. Our biggest success is, well, for one, we are 13th percent for the Aspen Institute Award last year, and we are 17th in the nation of all community colleges for retention and graduation rates. So that's our claim to fame. We do a wraparound job. We do case management at Colorado Mountain College to make sure students are successful and they graduate. So the next question is probably going to be, how can you do case management with 24,000 people, right? The answer to that is it's very simple, coming from an old social worker like me. Student walks into the registrar's office here at Cerritos, and they want to register, whatever. They finish their registration process. All the registrar or who's ever doing the registration for the student has to ask one question of the student. How can I make you successful today? That will open the door to all sorts of questions that he or she may have about other services that they need. How can I make you successful today? Will work. Try it. And the student will tell you, I'm having problems with the bursar, with my finances, with financial aid, with counseling. That's how we can do it. If there's a sense the students feel, we say to you always, how can I make you successful today? After they will come forward, after they learn that this is our philosophy of what we're doing. Next.
Next question. Please describe your experience with and your assessment of issues facing CTE programs. If hired here, what would your plans and goals be for those programs? And then the same question for transfer programs, child development, and sabbatical leaves.
Wow. Okay. CTE programs, career and technical education, are hot. It's all over the news. It's national. You guys are hot. So here you have culinary, you have automotive. Help me out here. What else do you have CTE level? IT. Okay. Right. Okay. Welding. Okay. Cosmetology. Right. $5 to get in. Get your haircut. Okay. I already found that one. That's a bargain. Okay. So they're hot, but programs that are going on. So is liberal arts at this point. Because liberal arts, and when I say this, it's not exclusive. Liberal arts, God love them, are the ones who teach us the soft skills that students need to go out and be successful, whether they're culinarians or auto mechanics or whatever. CTE also does that, but a little bit differently. So I don't want to split house when it comes to liberal arts and CTE, because what's our one goal at the college? Student success. But when they graduate, we hope they are employed, and we hope they are lifelong learners. So that's how the two come together. CTE programs or liberal arts programs, whether it's an AS in English or history, or it's a degree in culinary, or it's a degree in ski and snowboard business, which we have at Steamboat, it's one thing. How do the students become successful? How do we make them lifelong learners? Okay. Did I answer the question or all of it? Oh, sabbatical? Okay. Was out there?
Yes. Sabbatical.
Okay. Not to put anybody on the spot, but what about sabbaticals? I'm fully aware of sabbaticals. I encourage that the faculty take a sabbatical and do some research that will add to the body of knowledge for student success or their own discipline. Does that answer the question for whoever asked about sabbaticals?
Next question. What issues do you expect to encounter as a California Community College president that you do not face as a Colorado CEO?
Okay. Fair question. Probably one of the issues I'll have to face, but as I said before, I've lived in California and I've worked with California government in the past, is your funding model. As the state doesn't give enough funding to the community colleges and the colleges in the state of California. So that 10 years ago, presidents of community colleges, in their job description, there wasn't even the word fundraising. It's only recently that the presidents, you'll find it in the job description. It's in this job description here, fundraising abilities. Abilities, to go out there and talk to generous donors. So I don't see any difference for me since I was a Californian. I worked with state government. There was Arnold Schwarzenegger that I worked with. He's no longer in office. I remember Jerry from the past. I don't think there are issues. The funding formulas that are facing Colorado and California are similar in basis. They just have tweaks to them that are going on. You're trying to in California, and I would encourage it, and if I were your president, I would be right there first in line, concurrent enrollment. Concurrent enrollment saves our future for our students. Where best to go? If you had concurrent enrollment and you were a senior in high school, you'd be nuts not to go to community college in your senior year, get as many credits as you can, or start in your junior year and complete your AA degree, or towards a CTE degree, credits towards that. And then if you want to go to UCLA, to complete, what happens? Right. You saved thousands of dollars. And you've got a wonderful education by going to community college. And then you're not, we hear this all the time, you're not in debt. Our graduates are in debt. How are they going to get out of debt? How will they afford a car when they get out? How will they afford a home? Can they get married? All those questions become mitigated to a certain extent that you didn't start off at a 4-year institution paying very high rates of tuition, and you save money. And you got a great education. Okay, I think I answered it.
Next question. We are on warning partially due to non-compliance with Standard 4,
Yep.
relationship of the president with the Board of Trustees. How will you get us off warning and stay off warning?
I'm going to go back to that's a people thing. I read that. You're also on warning for lack of outcomes in some of the courses. And that can be fixed pretty easily. And I believe the creditors are coming back in April to do that. The board are people just like you and I. So I would have to find out, as I know from my board, why did you run for the board spot? What's important to you? Is student success important to you? To do that. I usually, with the board members I currently have, I go to lunch with them, I find out who they are as people, why they ran, what they can do for, in your case, Cerritos College. And I hate to use the word politics, but politics are always around us. But there are things called positive politics. So not that I'm the great matchmaker or whatever, but the president is your go-between. Let me state it this way. I said it before. I have 1,000 bosses or 1,000 supervisors that are out there. Every time I run to a student or faculty member, that's my supervisor. I look at the board. Yes, I'm their only employee if I'm chosen for this position, but I have to work with them. They're people, and I have to, make them aware of the concerns that the faculty and staff have. Did I watch your YouTube videos of your trustee meetings? You bet I did, and I saw exactly how it's being done. So I'm aware. I know what I'm stepping into in a positive way. I've done a lot of research on that. So you'd have to trust me on that one, that I would work to your benefit. And my goal will always be student success is my North Star here. Okay?
What skills and experience do you bring to restore a fractured campus community? What is your management style, keeping in mind shared governance?
Okay, fractured. I'm going to take that as equaling morale issues. Without saying a word, can people shake their head? Am I on the right trail on this one? Okay, thanks. I got an thumbs up there. Morale usually stems from ignorance of what's going on the campus and not being informed. Okay, that's my definition of fractured. So in order to do that, and I don't like this word, but I have to be as transparent. The team that works with me has to be transparent. You have to be transparent. The faculty has to be transparent. And I don't mean lip service to it whatsoever. I mean, you have to, along with me, like I said, we're working with what first? People. People make it happen. Or people make it not happen. Okay, you've already heard that I'm a no drama type of person. Will I go up to somebody who's got a bad piece of information that they keep throwing out there? Of course I will. Will I do it in a polite way? Of course I will. Will I use my emotional intelligence? Of course I will with them. But we have to start piecing together, because what's our number one goal? Student success. Is it about us or is it about the students? It's about the students. So everything that we do that is dramatic takes away from their experience. And I'll tell you, I've been in situations where students are brought into these things, and that shouldn't happen. They should have a seamless education here, and we should all be extremely professional. Will it pop up from time to time? Absolutely. What happens is when you don't look at it and let it keep going and going, that you get the fractured that are going here. So I go out, like I said before, I walk around, I talk to people, and if somebody says it's fractured, I'm going to say, how so? Where? And what can we do about it? Okay.
The California higher education system is governed by a very intricate legislative system. Mm-hmm. How will you cope with the challenges having to get acquainted with it and this campus will affect your ability to be an effective superintendent for Cerritos College?
Okay. Again, I used to be in California. I've worked with the legislature. I'll reverse the question. If Colorado asked me that 7 years ago, how are you going to work with the legislators? It's a quick study. Knowing people, making it my business to do that. Case in point, we are one of the few community colleges in Colorado that offers BA degrees. And we've been offering those BA degrees for 4 years. Recently in California, certain community colleges were given BA authority. Cerritos, as I understand, is not one of those to do that. All right. In order to get BA authority in Colorado, you had to have a bill passed. So I worked with the current president to get a bill passed, get some Congress people forward to do that. Work with other colleges to say that it was not mission creep, that we are a community college. We are not a four-year institution. How are you going to do this? We had a good answer for that. As if you've ever been to Western Colorado, up where I currently live, there are no four-year institutions in 12,000 square miles. If you want to complete your degree, you have to go down to Denver or Colorado Springs in order to do it. So we had a good reason to do it. I'm not afraid of that. I've been a senior administrator for a long time. Legislative issues are variations on a theme. They're not new. They're variations. And again, it's working with people. So I'm confident that I can come up to speed in a very short time. I already know about your concurrent enrollment bill, and I'd like to see that get passed because it's really beneficial. Yes?
We are all concerned about the affordability of textbooks.
Mm-hmm.
What are ways you would work with faculty, students, and staff and administration to reduce textbooks for students?
Well,
cost.
As I understand, you have Follett here, and most of us have Follett. I found Follett willing to work with individuals and keep prices down. I understand the student government is also working with Follett. So that said, that's our main source is usually Follett. But there are other ways. There are digital books that are out there that we haven't fully explored. They're much cheaper to do, but there's a curve to learning where all the digital materials are and the use of the digital materials, And it's for the benefit of our students that we have a learning curve with the faculty who are not already doing this to find out what are the digital sources that are out there that are less expensive than the textbook. Follett has a digital division that you can use, but we keep pumping out the textbooks. Okay, so that's one opportunity. The other opportunity is, I don't know if you did book sell back, where the students do it student to student and not through Follett. Is that new? Yeah, why not have it? We've had flea markets for book sales for a long time. Okay, as long as, I don't know what kind of contract you signed with Follett. I'd have to read it to see whether that was possible to do it. But a book exchange, sometimes it's nothing. If you've got the chemistry and I need the biology, let's just do it. Like you've got the fair going on around here at the tables. Why can't we have a book exchange that's going on? And that cuts down cost. The other thing that I say to my faculty is that I know you like to use certain books or whatever. I like to say whenever it goes over $100, I ask the faculty, that's all I ask. I ask them to consider, is there another source that's less expensive? Or I did have a conversation with my faculty senate about required versus, right. What's required? Are you going to use the text? Because, the students will come to me and I'll have lunch with them and say, we bought this text, it was $50, Professor X never opened the book. So it's like, okay, I'll go back and have a conversation and say, is this coming up in the next 5 weeks? You're going to do the chapters on it? Case in point, be judicious with student money. Don't increase their debt any more than you have to, but get the intellectual material across to them in the manner that you, as a faculty member, deem necessary.
What do you believe to be the most pressing issue for Cerritos College students? And how would you go about leading an effort to impact change in that area?
Leading, whether you're at Cerritos, Colorado Mountain College, UCLA, I don't care where you are, money. The affordability of a community college or a college. I think in your paper it just indicated that in the last 10 years prices have gone up 63% at colleges and universities, which is incredible. For me, that's the number one goal: economics, affordability. What will I do about it? Much like I did at Colorado Mountain College, I will go out and I will raise funds, which I've done $250,000 in the last couple of years. I will get scholarships named after people. There's one named after me for a single mother. I will talk to anybody. Let me back up. It's very easy to raise money when there's people attached to it. Raising money for a building, it's horrible. I mean, because you can say, okay, we'll put a plaque on it, we'll name this room after you, da-da-da-da-da. Well, it's cold whatsoever. Unless they have a very large ego and they want to go by and they want to see their name on the building. And that's a different story. That's a different individual. Few and far between are those individuals. People want to give to people. So when we do the scholarship money, we ask them to come in. My only requirement of the student who receives the money is, would you please have lunch with the donor and tell them what happened since you received this funding from them. And then all of a sudden, we get more funding because they want to connect. They want to know their money is being put to good use, and they want to see a face with that. And it doesn't cost much. It only costs you the time to come to a lunch to do that. So that works well. So that's my answer to that.
What has been your past experience working with categorically funded programs such as DSPS, EOPS, etc.?
I have background in that. I've worked with those in the past. So if that's a yes or no question, it sounds like.
There's an issue of safety on Cerritos College campus. How would you address this problem?
Is that the person that got pistol whipped that I read in the paper? Is that what we're talking about? No? Okay. Security, in these times, everybody's responsible for their own behavior and the behavior of others. That's going back to my premise, people to people, on all that. So when you ask me how would I increase, I can't give you an answer because I'm not the president. That's not a cop-out. I just don't have the information, nor have I seen the people who've got together to try and address the issue. So what if questions always, for me, go to process? So if you ask me, what I would say is that I would look at the process of how we police ourselves here at Cerritos, and that would be a task force, or that would be a think tank that we would put together that was cross-sectional of the whole college, okay? And then see if we are in alignment with other communities similar to Cerritos. So it's a broad question. It's not, if you were thinking I was going to say I'd add more police to the force, we're not there yet. Maybe it's not a policing issue. Maybe it's some other type of issue that's going on, that we need to look at. So we always need what? Data to make our decisions so that we're not what? Wasting money. If we waste money, what happens? Student success initiatives go down. So again, North Star, student success for us. So every decision we make is deliberate towards that goal. So for the policing issue, process and see what the issue really is.
Are you a candidate for another position in another district?
Well, you guys are really up on it. Yes, I am a finalist at Nassau Community College, Long Island. I travel there 2 weeks. I am the last candidate to come in. Like your institution, there are 5 of us that have been selected. So somebody Googled me and they found out. So I'm trying to, I won't anticipate the next question, but let's see if it's there. Which one do I want if I was given both? Is probably one of those questions. But yes, I am. To be perfectly honest with you, and that's what I am, yes, I'm out there. Okay? But it's going to be a balance of the people, the college, the board of trustees, my skills and abilities, and I'm not even there yet. You know? So do I have ties to California? I told you I do have ties. I have 2 children that live in Northern California. I told you I want to get out of the snow. So, New York has, as you can see, the East Coast really got snow this year. So it's like, oh, okay. But no. So yes, I am a candidate in another place and and maybe a third. So
Describe a change you specifically have led and how you worked with those groups that were resistant to that change.
okay. All right. So you're going through a time of change right now. You know, there's a new president coming in. What will he or she do? How will it affect me personally and professionally? All right, so everybody's a little bit nervous about, are things going to change? Is my way of life going to change? Or whatever. So the people that resist change, it's usually done out of fear. And if you understand that and you don't take it personally, and you use your emotional intelligence and you go to them and say, you know, for me, what's the issue? What's the matter? What's not going well for you? And you take the time to listen to them. I'm not saying I'm going in to dissuade them from their point of view, but I want to understand that point of view so I can talk to others about it. I mean, again, you asked me a question about being fractured. That's how you get to be fractured. You don't address the situation where people are uncomfortable or complaining. So my style is to go directly to the source if I can and talk to them, or have a team member, you know, talk with them. If they're not comfortable with me, then by all means, somebody on the team will go talk to them. So we all support each other. Okay, it sounds lofty, but it works. If you go person to person, it works. If you show that you really mean it, it works. If you don't give lip service to it, it works. All right? Next.
The next few years can once again be challenging for Cerritos College with Proposition 30 sunsetting at the end of 2016 and the college's follow-up with accreditation. How can you assure the students and the campus community that we can trust you leading our school at a critical time for our college and not leave for another campus?
Okay. Well, we'll go backwards on this question. If you look at my history, I don't bolt and run. I've been at Colorado Mountain College for 7 years. Before that, in the medical school for 12 years. So I stick around. I don't run and bolt at this point. How can you trust me that I will? You can't. You can't trust me because you don't know me. Trust is either given or earned. So the only thing you can do is take my word for it, as I said continually here, and I mean it, is that student success is number one, and we're geared to student success as a college. So why would I do anything to jeopardize? But I can't say I will, because I haven't earned your trust, you haven't earned my trust, backwards. So it's another what if question. Will I do what's in the best interest of this college and our students? Absolutely, I will do that. Can I guarantee it? No. Because do I have full control over what's going on in the state of California? No, I don't. Can I work towards that goal? Yes. Can I work towards concurrent enrollment? Yes. Can I work in your interest? Yes, as I've done in the past for Colorado Mountain College. So I can't guarantee it. I will give it all my, worth.
Weaknesses can sometimes turn out to be strengths.
Yeah.
What are some of yours?
Weaknesses or strengths? Weaknesses I can talk about forever. Okay, so weaknesses would be, like all of us, society kind of overwhelms us. We've got kids to pick up, we've got grocery shopping to do, we've got to go to school, we have to teach, we have to do all these things. So who has, at some time in the last week, felt unfocused? Good. I like this side of the room. I'm just like you. I get unfocused, okay? And in the president's slot, you go from talking about ceramics to finances to automotive to the Chamber of Commerce outside of town. Okay, so it's like, woo, And I've done this for, 9 years I've been a CEO? So what I do is I do one simple thing that works for me. Any meeting with me starts at 5 after the hour, if it's an hour-long meeting. So that when I come rushing in from the 2 o'clock to 3, I've got 5 minutes. That 5 minutes means I get to refocus, and if I'm talking about ceramics, I got ceramics going on in my head, and then I'm listening to you carefully, and I'm not thinking about what just happened in that finance meeting, or what's my upcoming meeting with the Chamber of Commerce. So that's what I do. That's a weakness, and I work on that every single day. Okay? Other than that, I don't have other weaknesses. I'm a human being just like you. But I have a strong belief system, and I won't let you down. So I have bad days. I have good days. As we all have bad days and good days. If I have a bad day, I hide. They don't happen very often. I really don't let people affect me that greatly, so I will have a bad day. So that's it.
Okay, last question, so that you can have some time to do a little summary comment. What is your experiencing concerning working with faculty unions? Last question.
Okay. Last question, and I'll tell you a story. Don't make a point about unions. And some people in the room have already heard this story. Probably this will be the third reiteration, but it makes a point. I am a first-generation college graduate. Okay? I didn't go to community college because back then, in my area, they didn't have community colleges at that point. Okay, so I had to work. My parents were blue collar. They had some of their savings that they gave to me, and the rest of it they said, Peter, you have to work going through college. And I worked when I was going through high school. So I worked through college, and I chose to work for a grocery chain because it had the highest minimum wage level. So I worked for the grocery store, and it was unionized. Okay, so here I am, a green 19-year-old student working in a union environment and talking to all the people and stuff like that, and it was great. I was getting an education about what it meant to be a union member. Then what do you think happened? They went on strike. It's like, oh God, what do I do now? Do I cross the line because I need food, for next week? Or do I honor that? I honored it at that point, and then I had to take a part-time job down the street until we went off strike, but still walked the line. What an experience that was to do that. So yes, I understand unions. I understand the value of unions. And so in ending what I say, we have dignity always preserved. Okay? when there's contract negotiations going on. Dignity is my number one to be preserved. Okay. Number two is that we go through the process and we beat up as few people as necessary. Okay, because sometimes they can get contentious, and I've been in contentious ones, whatever. But if that were the case, and I were here as your president, I would remind you, people to people. These are people on the other side of the desk, or whatever, and we have a commitment to our people. You know, that's our number one goal. And that's it for me.
Summary comment?
I've enjoyed my time here today. Very good questions. Really thoughtful questions. The criminal questions, interesting. I will go back, but I still have that feeling. Time served, time done. And let me just back up on that a little bit. The reason I say that, when I was a social worker, I worked the prison system, and I saw that people could turn around their lives, but the stigma kept following them, and people wouldn't let them, you know, continue. So maybe that's why I'm so, not adamant, but that's why I say that. I worked the prison systems as a social worker, and I saw good things were happening, not all the bad things that are happening. It's been a pleasure to be here. Your hospitality, wonderful. Weather, gorgeous at this point. It's just, and very thoughtful questions. My hope is that you find a president that will, you know, fix the fractures, work with you, be successful with their students, and work with the legislature. I know I can do all of those things. Thank you for the question about, am I a finalist someplace else? Yes. Is that a big decision? Absolutely. But it's my decision. Do I like the college? Do I like the people? Can I work with you? So it's a two-way street here this morning. Okay? But you have some advantage with the weather. So, anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you. Again, on behalf of the Board of Trustees of Cerritos College, I want to thank all of you for taking time to be here and participating in this process. Please fill out any forms that you wish relating to your evaluation of our candidate today and submit them to the monitors. You also can go to SurveyMonkey and submit any comments you wish. Thank you very much for being here this morning.